Commissioners, I'm going to call this meeting to order. Welcome to our special called meeting for the Glynn County Board of Commissioners. It's a virtual teleconference meeting via Microsoft Teams, and it's simultaneous public access provided on Facebook and YouTube in an effort to adhere to the guidelines set forth by the CDC for the COVID-19 pandemic. This meeting is being held via video teleconference. The public has simultaneous access to the meeting. And again, I want to welcome everyone here. And before we get into the agenda and any deletions or additions to it, I just want to see who else we have here with staff. First off, we'll confirm who we have with the commissioners. I'll go down the list. If you're here, just say present. Commissioner Booker.
Present.
Commissioner Brunson.
Present.
Commissioner Coleman.
Present.
Commissioner Murphy.
Present.
Commissioner Neal.
Present.
Commissioner O'Quinn.
Present.
Commissioner Browning. Present. And with staff, County Manager Hours.
Present.
County Clerk Gwani Patel.
Present.
County Attorney Mumford.
Present.
Okay. We have some other staff here. I know Christy Eulistia, she's here, right?
Present.
Okay, she's with Community Development. I see you got a whole staff backing you up back there. We're not going to call all their names.
Yes.
Anyone else with staff that I missed? Okay, we also have with us today from the Police Advisory Panel, Chair Carl Alexander.
I'm here.
And Dominique McClinton.
I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, we'll be calling on those two individuals here shortly. Okay, commissioners, we'll go to the agenda, and Commissioner Brunson.
Yes, sir. You want me to police up the agenda here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'd like to get a motion to remove item number 2 from the agenda.
So moved.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor. I'll call the motion. All those in favor signify yes when I call your name. Commissioner Booker.
Yes.
Commissioner Brunson.
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman.
Yay.
Commissioner Murphy.
Yes.
Commissioner Neal.
Yes.
Commissioner Quinn.
Yes.
And Commissioner Browning. Yes.
And Mr. Chairman, I move to add item number 3 to the agenda to receive a proposal for from members of the Police Advisory Panel.
Second.
Commissioner, we have a motion and a second. I'll call the motion. If you're in favor, say yes when I call your name. Commissioner Booker.
Yes.
Commissioner Brunson.
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman.
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy.
Yes.
Commissioner Neal.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Quinn.
Yes.
Commissioner Browning. Yes. Okay, thank you, commissioners. Thank you, Bill. Okay, on the agenda, item 1, receive an update regarding condemnation. And I do see Christy Eulistia's name to report that. So Christy, you have the floor.
Yes. Right, give me a second. All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Mr. Commissioner. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Christy Eulistia, Condemnation Program Coordinator for Glynn County Community Development. In today's presentation, I would like to update you with any progress with condemnation program during the period January to June 2020. I am pleased to inform you that overall we have a positive result with the condemnation. Please let me begin with showing you this number. In the first quarter of 2020, we have 4 more reported cases compared to the second quarter of 2020. However, we have 2 more cases in private handled in the second quarter of 2020 compared to the first quarter. Other than that, we have no significant change in commercial case or in the legal action for both quarters. In the first quarter of 2020, we have 6 cases completed, and we are able to bring property owner in compliance. In the second quarter, we are able to close and bring the property owner 3 cases complete. What makes the difference between the 2 quarters? Unfortunately, due to the COVID-19, for the second quarter, a process has slowed down. But now let me show you to the result area that we have for the both quarters. The first case that we are able to close less than a year in the quarter of 2020 is 142 Emmanuel Farm Road. This is a straightforward case, and we are able to close less than 1 year. On the other hand, we have 145 Marsh that we are able to close the case after working closely with the loan company who had a lien on the property, and together with the lawful heir of the property owner, that we are able to find the structure demolished on January 2020. We make this case completed in less than 2 years. Another case is a straightforward case we have right here that we are able to close less than 5 months. Is 75 Chapel Crossing Road. (145) Grand Ferry Road. This is an old case that we created back in 2008. I was in contact with the property owner to grant a permission to went to the property and to be able to confirm that the structure has been demolished on the February 2020. On the other hand, we have 124 Crispin Boulevard. It took us almost 3 years to be able to close this case after working together with the family member of the property owner. Finally, we're able to confirm, and we can see the demolition permit was applied for on January 2020, and we can confirm the demolition on March 2020. The last case that we have on the first quarter of 2020 is another straightforward case we have in 151 Baumgartner Road. We're able to close the case and bring the property owner to compliance just in less than 6 months. Now I would like to begin with the second quarter of 2020 with the Blight the Island 6252 Blight the Island property. We created this case back in 2018. Finally, after transfer of ownership, we are able to work together with the new property owner to bring the structure into the compliance. As per visit in May 2020, I can see the demolition has been made, and another site inspection will follow to confirm that debris is cleaned up from the property. Second one is the Blight the Island duplex. It took a little while for us to finish this case. We have the case since 2017, and finally, after numerous contacts with the property owner, we are able to bring this property also into compliance, and we closed this case in May 2020. In the next slide, I will show you the last property that we are able to bring to compliance, and it make us the first commercial structure that we close in this quarter. It's Australian known as Sterling Game or 6389 New Jesup Highway. In less than 6 months or in less than 7 months, we're able to confirm that the structure has been demolished. I would like to move forward with the property that we projected will be demolished in the next 3 or 4 months. We move forward with the mobile home. The first mobile home that we're taking care of is the Horseshoe Lane. We have 3 demolition permits that applied for, and based on my inspection back in May, we able to confirm that the 3 properties is progressing and is in demolition progress. Similar with these 3 properties, we have another 3 properties that demolition permit applied for, and based on my inspection, I can confirm a demolition is in progress for the property in 1179 Damer Road, St. Simon Island, and the property in Old Jesup Road. Another inspection will follow up in next month or 2 to confirm the demolition is completed. Now I would like to move forward with the legal action. There is no significant change from the last report that I sent it to you. However, for the 618 Sunset Boulevard, we have all the documents and report completed for us and the county attorney to move forward with the legal action for this. And we just need to wait for the next further notice from the county attorney.
Christie, go back to that one, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Has he done anything to that house? I know that's an old picture right there, but has there been anything cleaned up or any improvements made?
Yes. Code enforcement and we can confirm that they start to work and clean up the property. But however, it's not enough. And then the contractor, what they hired, it wasn't the licensed contractor. So we cannot stop with our legal action. And we are still awaiting for him to allow our building official or inspector to inspect inside the property, which until now we haven't got anything yet from them. That's the reason. But yes, he started to clean up outside. And other than that, he hasn't unfortunately done anything else.
But he hadn't done anything to the structure?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay, because that's Chip Drury's house, guys. I'm sure y'all all know him, but he contacted me 2 or 3 times. Actually, I went over there a couple of times and looked at that, and that's, like I said, that's an older picture right there. But
Yes.
he was telling me all this stuff he was going to do this house and renovate it and get it livable and all that. But I hadn't been back since, so I didn't know if that was a picture of the original property back when we were getting on him about it versus what he told me he was going to do to the property. And I was just so basically all he's done is clean up the landscape.
Correct, yes. The landscape, he cleaned it up. However, this is no significant change on the structure.
Right. Okay. Well, I went over and looked at it, walked through the house, and it's anyway. I'm very familiar with that house, guys.
Yes.
But that kind of clears a little thing up for me, because I was expecting it to be basically under renovation and getting it back to livable conditions, but I see that hadn't happened. So,
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Coleman, I don't know who Chip Drury is. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point, but
No.
I'm not familiar with.
Okay. Yes, let me move forward with the next case that we have on that we forwarded to the county attorney. There is just no significant change yet. For this case, we have all the paperwork. We have several contacts with the guardians of the lawful heir of the property. And again, we are still waiting for the further notice. What is the next step from the county attorney? The last case that we have forwarded to the county attorney office is the 6917 Dudley Street. I don't want to repeat myself. However, this is a similar case, and we have everything ready, and then we just need to wait until it's ready to move forward. In the conclusion, I would like to show you that overall in 2020 until now, June 2020, we have 26 cases reported. Along with that, we have 24 cases worked on during this 6 months. We have 8 demolition permit applied for, and at the end of June, we have at least 9 cases closed, and we are able to bring this 9 property owner into compliance. I really appreciate it for your attention, and if there is just any questions, it will be my pleasure to answer any of them. Thank you.
Commissioners, this is Pamela Thompson. I just want to add to that summary that Christy has been with us now for a year. You all approved this position mid-budget year FY19 with the understanding that we really needed to work to improve our community. And I cannot tell you what an asset she's been to our team. And the things that have happened are, number one, she has cleaned up more properties in the year that she's been here than in the 3 years prior that we had a team working on it. And number two, we're having a lot more owner compliance. She's friendly and helpful, but stays on them and in communication with them. And we have a lot of private property owners repairing or cleaning up their own properties. So we're really excited about this program.
Christy, this is Commissioner Coleman again. Do you have on your list there a house that's out here in Bell Point? I think the address is like 185 King Cotton Road.
Yes, sir. I do have one, 253 King Cotton Road.
Is that a little brick ranch house?
Correct. Yes, with the location on the back side of the property. Is that the one? One level house.
Right. So if you go in on Crossbrook, it's the second house on your right.
That one is as well.
I say it's probably is.
I'm not 100% certain, but I think that is just the one that we have on the list. It's just 253 King Cotton Road. I have the title search ready. However, I have not forwarded to the county attorney yet. We have tried already several times to contact the property owners. Unfortunately, it's not successful. But yes, we have that in our list too.
That guy, the property owner, I can't recall the man's name, and isn't he up in South Carolina somewhere?
Yes.
Okay, that's the one I'm talking about right there. We've been working on that since I've been a commissioner. I live out here in Bell Point, and I see that house every day, and I mean it's awful. And if you've been out there and looked at it, you'll agree. You know, it's just a house that's falling down. There ain't no way anybody ever live in that house again. It got an in-ground pool in the backyard. It's full of dirt, literally filled up full of dirt.
Right.
And yeah, and that's the guy, Aaron Mumford, and I and Commissioner Brunson. I don't know if you know all the details, but this thing's been going on for, gosh, 8, 9, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy keeps evading us some way or another. There's power on. They can't pinpoint exactly the facts that need to be gathered here, but I know Will Worley was working real heavy on that at one time, and we got it all the way to the condemnation process, and all of a sudden everything just quit. And it's all we can do out here in Bell Point to keep the grass cut on the thing. I mean, this guy, my next door neighbor, would go over there and cut the grass, and the guy, he knows him, and he'd go cut the grass, and the guy wouldn't pay him. So he quit cutting the grass, and I mean, it's awful. It's the second house in on the right when you enter Bell Point. It's the first thing people see. It's terrible. But I would like to urge you to pull that number out of the hat right there, and really, if you want to jump on something, that's the one to jump on right there, because it's terrible, awful.
Yes. Yeah, like again, I mean, like code enforcement went out there already, and then me and Mr. Ellis Carter, we went out there already, and then all the paperwork for the title says for us to move a little further with that, with the legal action is just ready. It's just, I just need to make sure that everything is correct, and then I'll submit it in the next week to the county officer for any further legal action. That's what I assure you, that we are working on that one too.
Right. I know it's been a hot issue for a long time, and it's, quite frankly, the only thing that's ever been done was every now and then the grass gets cut. But other than that, I mean, the front door's wide open. At one time, there must have been 8 or 10 of those orange sticky notes on the front door about property. And I know code enforcement, I mean, this goes back a long way. But anyway, good. That's great to know. I certainly wanted to follow up on that one, because that has really been an eyesore for a long time.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioners, y'all have any other questions for Christie? I have to jump in here and say a few words too. I think that we've come a long way since Christie's come on board, and it was a good decision to hire her, and looks like we still have plenty more work ahead of her, so she can stick around for a little while. And Tam, thank you for your kind words and taking up for your staff. We have a wonderful staff and a bunch of great employees, and they don't get recognized as often as they should. So appreciate you taking the opportunity to recognize her, and thank you, Christie.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, as you know, you and I sort of hawked this committee for 2 or 3 years at just about every meeting they had. We never saw a report like the one we just saw today of things getting done. And I can just echo what Pam said about Christie. I mean, she's all over it, but she does it with a kind, fair demeanor. And she's an asset to the team. Thank you, Christie.
Thank you, sir.
I got an amen on that.
Yeah, this is, I have to say, Commissioner Brunson and I, we sat on a lot of meetings, and, you know, we kept wanting to see something get torn down. And, you know, we're for tearing down, but it was actually the board has had a big role in making a difference too, because there was some recommendations brought to us to kind of streamline how things were handled and cut out some of the bureaucracy. And I think that's helped the process too. So the board they had their own role in it, and appreciate the board getting behind and making it a better process so we can get some of these eyesores torn down. Thank you all. Okay, we're going to go to, of course, item 2 on the agenda was pulled. And so item 3, receive a proposal from the Police Advisory Panel. We have 2 gentlemen here today from the panel. We have Chairman Carl Alexander. Carl, I think you want to say a few words. Carl, I think you're muted.
How about now?
There you go. We hear you now.
All right, I'm sorry. Thank you for letting, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, thank you all for allowing us to come before you today. We really do appreciate the opportunity. I can tell you that the committee that you have assigned and the assignment you've given us is taken very seriously by everyone on this group. We have a good understanding. We've traveled to the police department. We've had a couple of meetings, and we're moving forward with as much expediency as we possibly can. Appreciate Mr. O'Quinn and Mr. Hours sitting in with us and giving us the guidance so we stay in compliance with all your wishes. Our goal is to not, every time we come before you with a recommendation or something, is not have a dollar bill attached to it. And I know how tough times are, and we all do. unfortunately today is going to have a dollar attached to it. And so that being said, again, we appreciate the opportunity, and I think everyone's heart is in the right place, and we understand that we're under some time constraints and we need to move forward just as fast as we possibly can. We have the main three things we've been working on is the accreditation process, the internal affairs process, and then getting the manual where it should be, so those officers understand what the expectations are. Of course, in current times, we're going to have to adjust some things and ask Chief Wiggins and his staff to be sure that they're touching all the bases that need to be touched in our world today. So with that, if it's okay with you, that being said, Mr. Dominic McClinton is the vice chair. He's online and he wants to make a presentation to you what we're asking for today, if that's okay.
Okay, Chairman Alexander, appreciate that. And Vice Chair Dominic McClinton, you have the floor, sir, and welcome here.
All right, thank you, Chairman Alexander, and thank you, Chairman Browning, to allow me this opportunity to make this presentation to the commissioners. Just as Mr. Alexander said, one of our functions is to talk about those three prongs of internal affairs, the policy piece, as well as the accreditation piece. And that's what this particular
Did y'all go silent? Mine did.
Mr. McClinton, I think we lost your voice, your audio.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now. You may want to start over. I think we lost you about one sentence in, if you don't mind.
We're supposed to be video. There's supposed to be video too.
All right, maybe this with the video. I thought maybe with the video would be a less of a lag, but I have no problem turning the video on as well. Can you hear me well now?
Hear you and see you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, outstanding. Going back to what I originally said, one of the things that Chairman Alexander spoke about was the three-pronged approach that we're taking concerning the policy piece, the accreditation piece, and the internal affairs piece. Right now, Mr. Sarnowski is the primary person, if not the sole person doing that. And in our meeting in May, we realized there's potentially a single point of failure with him being the only individual that's responsible for those pieces. I know at this time there's someone that's being transferred into internal affairs to assist him with that piece of it. But primarily as it relates to the policy piece and the accreditation piece, that's what we're coming before you today, requesting that an administrative assistant be allowed to be added to the Glynn County Police Department to assist in not only the development of the policies, but ensuring that the policies are properly documented. And as we move forward with accreditation, that those accreditation standards are met, evidenced properly, documented properly, and then maintained properly over that course of period of time, so that accreditation or certification is not lost in the future. So the request today, or the recommendation today, is that the commissioners consider allowing the Glynn County Police Department to hire an administrative assistant who will assist Mr. Sarnowski and others with making sure that the policies are properly developed, documented, retained, as well as moving forward with accreditation when those standards are required to be reviewed and met, that information, that evidence to support that standard is also properly retained, documented, and then be able to produce in an annual report for the Georgia certification. Hopefully, each of you received a position description and duties and responsibilities that was to be mailed out to you for your review. If you've not, hopefully that will come to you very soon so that you can take a look at what that duty of that administrative assistant will be, and then you could consider, based on the panel's recommendation, of allowing the police department to hire that administrative assistant. Are there any questions?
Yeah, now this is going to be a permanent position.
Yes, sir. This would be a permanent position. As you know, the policies and procedures will continue. Even though they get put in place, we change policies. As an agency, the police department will change policies. Those policies would need to be updated. So with that taking place, you're still going to need that administrative assistant to ensure that those policies are properly documented and recorded, as well as the accreditation process continues. And it's our goal and the police department's goal to regain accreditation. And once that happens, evidence of those standards have to be secured and met every year. It's not just you receive accreditation and you're done until the next certification comes around or the next time period comes around. An annual report has to be generated every year to show the accrediting body that you are still, as a police department, in compliance with your own standards. So that person it will be a full-time permanent position to assist Mr. Sarnosky, so that there's no longer a single point of failure associated with these things, as well as it will speed up the process. And I know that we are trying to get this done as soon as possible. But adding this particular administrative assistant would help greatly with that. And it's the panel's view across the board that will assist.
So this person will answer to Sarnosky, and then what Sarnosky would report to the commission? Is that?
No, ultimately, this person will answer to the chief of police. All the Glynn County Police Department employees answers to the chief of police, and obviously the chief reports to the commission. So it's an employee of the Glynn County Police Department. And those resources that we're recommending be allocated for the purpose of assisting Mr. Sarnosky with that. So they wouldn't report unless the chief delegates that responsibility. He's at this point is the ultimately responsible for oversight. Now he may delegate that down to Mr. Sarnosky. Which
but gathering of the information, keeping the records updated and all that stuff will be reported directly to the chief.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Coleman, if I could jump in real quick. The accreditation process is something, as Mr. McClinton said, it doesn't go away. And actually, once you get the accreditation, if you do it right, it becomes a full-time job for someone. And it's one of those things that we see as paramount right now, that we get them accredited again so they're starting to move in the right direction. And like I said, we hate to come to y'all with a dollar bill attached to everything, but we feel pretty strongly that this is one of those things we desperately need right now so we can continue to move them forward.
Hey, Carl.
Yes, sir.
Well, excuse me, I'll let Commissioner Booker have the floor. Commissioner Booker?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to add, I think this is one of those positions that are key to making us better overall, just like the position we just witnessed with the Condemnation report, and also with the position of our grants coordinator, reinstating that position. Those two positions have been beneficial to us. They were all kind of done at a time when we needed it. And I think this position too is really at a crucial time when we need it.
I agree with you on that. I want to ask either Carl or Dominique, if you will, about any urgency in this. I mean, the process got started when we set up the panel, advisory panel. We have a regular meeting in two nights from tonight. This item is not on the agenda. Do you all feel it's urgent enough that if Alan Hours and his staff can put together something for the board to consider Thursday night with all the information we need, that it should be on the agenda?
Absolutely. And that was my hopes of getting at least this discussion with you guys today, was that hopefully it would get an opportunity to make it to the agenda for Thursday night so that you can make a decision and allow the police department to start moving forward. I know that your next meeting is not until the middle of July. Then that puts us potentially another 30 days behind the curve as far as getting this person in place and moving forward with what needs to be accomplished.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I concur 100% with what he said. It's just one of those things that we feel the urgency is there, and if there's any way possible, we would really appreciate you guys allowing the police department to do that.
Okay. Well, while we're all talking and listening in, Alan Hours,
Yes, sir.
can you have us something for Thursday night?
Absolutely. We have the information prepared, and we'll be glad to to prepare a actual formal board action memo for you to consider. Not a problem.
Okay. We'll consider it done as far as moving forward and making sure it gets put on the agenda for Thursday night. So anything else from the board? Any other questions of Dominique or Carl?
Gentlemen, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I think it's going to go a long way in assisting the police department to get where you'd like them to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Dominique, Carl, I want to thank both you gentlemen for stepping up and serving, wanting to serve on our police advisory panel. And I know you all turn out a great product for us. That's what we're looking for. So thank you all for being here today.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else have any comments before we, attorney, if we have anything for executive session? Aaron?
We do not. No, sir.
Okay, maybe Thursday night. So, okay. All right. If there's no further comments, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Thank staff for all your support, and we'll call this meeting complete, and it is officially adjourned. Thank you all.